Hey, welcome back to Powered by 8 Racing YouTube channel. Today is a day I've got to get ready for the last event of the 2022 season in the TT3 trim that we're going to be allowed to run because things are changing next year. But this is going to be a good opportunity to test. Also, I need to do a couple maintenance items. One is my shifter lever. I addressed it a little bit in a couple videos before where my shift lever load cell was acting up, so it would kill my ignition out of nowhere on track, so I'd have to turn it off and manually shift the car, which really hurt the performance of myself and the car having to actually do work and not rely on the computer to take care of things for us. Now I have a new shift knob with the load cell built into it versus the lever, and a new lever that G-Speed has made for me. Now, with that said, I've got to install that in the car. I also have a small transmission leak that I need to address, and then comes the rule change and what I need to do to potentially stay in TT3 without going back to the dyno and retuning the car.
Powered by 8.
Alright, so if you are into NASA and you're trying to get into NASA events, ST and TT run basically off the same set of rules, and that is each class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure how far down it goes. I never really got past 3. I can't go into 4 because of the ABS system. So U, which is unlimited, 1, 2, and 3 are classes that I could run with TT3 with what the car is in now. In 3, the base horsepower to weight ratio is a 10-to-1 horsepower to weight ratio. So with that said, that's your base of where you're going to lie in that class. Because of the sequential transmission, I take a -1 point modifier, which means I need to be 11-to-1 horsepower to weight ratio. That's why right now my car is tuned to 296 horsepower and 3,260 pounds with the driver coming off the track. Well, what they're doing for 2023 season is they have now for TT2 and TT3 increasing the tire modifier to a -0.3 if you run a 315, let me rephrase it, a larger than 315 tire. And that's stamped tire size, not templated tire size as of right now. So I run a 335 in the front and a 345 in the rear. So I'm going to be taking a lot of grip off of the car if I decide that I want to take that modifier. So another thing that happens with the point modifiers is that if you weigh 3,301 pounds, you get plus 0.1 back, and if you weigh 3,401, you get 2, 3, 4, and it keeps going up every 100 pounds up. I don't know what the ceiling is, but you get a point back. Because I'm at 3,260, I'm 41 pounds away from getting that one modifier back, which would then make the tire size modifier 0.2. So in my mind, what I'm thinking is that every time I come off of track, without a fail, I don't know why, I'm always 3,289, 3,290 pounds. So, in my mind, since I know that I've been doing that continuously all season long, 3,280, or 3,289 and 3,290, well, if I can make my car 3,320 coming off of track, then I don't have to do anything except for add 30 pounds to the car. And I don't think 30 pounds is going to make a lot of difference for me. When I broke the record in June, it was a hot day on a Sunday, and I was still kind of learning the car. I've had 100 more laps in the car since then, and I think that I can be a lot faster even with 30 pounds. So I don't think the 30 pounds is going to hurt me, and by jumping into 3,301 or greater, I will get that 1 point back, which will then take away from the -0.3, which will mean that it's -0.2. So anyways, long story short, I need to add 30 pounds minimum to the car, and I'll bring probably about 10 or 15 pounds with me to the track. That's like 2 gallons of gas of weight that I could put into the car. And I think what that'll do is still keep me competitive in TT3 without losing horsepower and only adding a minuscule amount of weight versus the entire, I think 60 pounds is what it would have required. But since I'm already 30 pounds over when I come off, then I might as well just add 30 more and see where we land. So, long story short, I'm going to go out again this next weekend, 30 pounds heavier, and we will see what happens. And I really feel good about it. It's going to be a winter event. It's going to be very, very cold. Car should run very strong. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't buy new tires. So I am still running like 7 heat cycle tires. I just, I've got a lot going on. I didn't want to buy new tires for the last event of the season when I already know the regional outcome. So we will go out and test 30 pounds heavier, see what happens. So with that said, let's get to pulling tires off, putting hob stands on, adding 30 pounds, and rear-corner balance in the car. Then we'll do the transmission, and then we'll put the shift lever back in the car. All right, let's get at it.
Powered by Ocho.
So I jumped on the car real quick just to see what the corner balance was going to do, and I've already added 30 pounds to the car. I'm right on the money. So right now I'm looking at about 2974-ish. Obviously this is my weight here, 2975, you can see. But now don't judge me because of my weight. I'm just going to stand kind of in the middle of the car. Obviously I'm going to get a little bit better at it when I do it, but you'll see my corner weight depending on where I position myself on the car. I don't know if I'm going to mess with that too much. If anything, I could raise the rear right just a little bit, or I could and lower the front left a little bit, or raise the front left and lower the front right and rear left. But I think what I'm going to do is just add a couple pounds to the back left and see what it does, but I think that'll just make it a little bit worse. So I might add a little bit of weight to the back right. So let's see what happens. All right, so you see that I added that 180 pounds to the driver's side seat, and I'm at 50.09. I'm gonna add, let's throw 10 pounds. I don't know if I've got a 10 pounder. Let me throw 10 pounds in the right rear and see what happens. All right, so I know that I think this brick is 17 pounds. So this is 3157. I think this should make it 74. Oh no, yep, there we go. So that's about 19 pounds, and that threw off the weight a little bit more the other direction, so that puts me at 49.78, but it's a little bit too much weight that I don't want to add, so I'm going to take this back out. I really want to add like 10-ish pounds to that corner, so because now it tipped the scale back to 49.83, so I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I still want to add 10 pounds to this corner and see what happens. So I've got a little bit of weight I can play with. I know I've got some of those plates. I know I have that brick there. I'm teetering right in the middle of, I mean, obviously I've got weight also on the car, but you know, so like I said, I'm at 3167. It's almost perfectly balanced, but it's not quite. As gas comes out of the car, it will come out of this side, which will make it worse, but you know what? We're here. Let's just go ahead and square that up. All right, so now that the corner balance is done, I'm happy with that. I'm going to move on to getting that shifter installed before I change the transmission fluid and fix the O-ring I need to in that. But I'm going to get the shifter installed. Let me show you what that is all about. And here it is. All right, so what allows us to do the node lift shifts is a load cell that is on the shift lever. So this is the shift lever that came with SADEV, and it comes with their standard, I guess, Corvette package. I don't know if they include it with other stuff, but this is what they gave us for the Corvettes. And you'll see the load cell here and here, and then it's got, I guess, its processors in here, and then this goes down to your ECU, or in my case, the Motec. And then as it detects the strain from you pulling it, it tells the ignition to cut the ignition or blip the throttle, depending on which motion you're doing. And the problem is that we've had 2 of these now fail, and this is what was giving me a problem at the track, where I needed to turn it off mid-session before I discovered that, or else I wasn't able to really shift the car because the car would just keep killing the ignition. So that's the problems I was having. So what G-Speed's done is basically taken a new rod, created a new lever, and then what we're moving to is a strain gauge that's built into the shift knob. So the strain gauge of this is in the shift knob itself. I'm not sure how the load cell works. I could take it apart, but I don't need to, so I'm not going to. But this is going to get installed, obviously, on the lever, and then this will become how I shift the car, and this strain gauge is what will tell the ECU what to do. The benefit of this over this is if this fails, I've got to take this out, mail it off, and get it fixed at the company who installed that load cell, to where this is an off-the-shelf part. We can just have one in the car, or I mean in the trailer if we want to, or you know, G-Speed I think keeps these in stock themselves, so I can just shoot them a message and say, hey, I need another shift knob, and they'll send this to me, and then we'll get it fixed up by twisting it off and back on and being ready to go. To where this, you know, I'll have the problems that I was having before, and I'll just be pretty much out. So that's kind of where we are. So I have to go put this back in the car. It's not the easiest of tasks, but let me get over to the car. It bolts to the stock points, and then this goes obviously in the trans tunnel area, and there's a fork that clips on there, and that's what moves the transmission forward and backwards. So let's go over to the car. now let's fix this transmission leak here. So you can see there's transmission fluid on the ground, and it's so clean. I just drained it. But anyways, it's leaking from here. This is a some sort of solenoid. There's an O-ring at the top there, so we're gonna have to pop this C-clip out. I'm hoping that it will come out very easily, and then I'll just go ahead and drain it from here, and then we've got to fill it back here, and that's what we will be doing at this point. So let me go ahead and get the fluid drained, and then I will pull this and refill it. All right, so before I drain this, I got to looking at this, and it just seems that I don't know how I'm going to get that out. So I'm just going to pull the pin, the clip, and see if it'll come out, and it'll just drain, because I don't want to drain the fluid if I don't have to, because I can't get it out. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it out. Oh, time for the manual. Alright, so futzing around with it. Actually, I grabbed the manual, I looked at it to see exactly what this was doing, and it was a stopper for the selector. And to remove everything, you have to have it in reverse. So then I started thinking about it. There's a spring up here, and as you shift it, it moves the selector rod up and down. So what I did was I removed the C-clip and just basically reached up in here and just kind of shook it, and it allowed the selector to push the spring under load, and then it popped this out. So I'm gonna go replace this O-ring real quick, and then I'll slide it back in there, cleaning it up, add some fluid, we'll be done. But this is the piece. This is the part here. So that one little O-ring was what was causing the leak. So let me get that replaced. Alright, so we'll just push it up in here. Hopefully that spring will go right back in. It'll seal itself right back up. Let's clean this residual out. It'll probably get a little bit drips for a little while. As you know, most things like that will leak a little bit. Let's put our C-clip right back up in there. So I'm going to pop this off. I'm just going to add some more fluid to it. Since some did drain out, we'll just top it off. All right, there's a steady flow coming out. That means we are full. We'll take this pump off. All right, so that's a wrap. I got the shifter in, the lever in, that's working. I got the weight that I need, close. Corner balance is going to be fine for what we need to test. And we've got hopefully the leak in the transmission fixed. So we are ready for Sebring in a little bit. It's the last one of the season, and we'll see what happens. Oh, and it won't drop for a little bit, but oh, that's all you're gonna see. Yep, there was something in that. I hope that you saw it. Anyways, we will see you at the track.
Powered by the old show.